Hello, my seeking hearts. Peace to you today. Our morning boost this morning is on seeking the content and the form will follow. Now, I've talked in my previous video about how the form comes from the content. It's sort of a karmatic in nature. There's a karma based dynamic to it. Now, I don't know the full extent of karma. I know it deals with like past lives and everything, but more about my thinking is it's, at least from where I'm coming from, is more about the dynamic of, if you do good, good will come to you, that sort of thing. Now, I think to that effect, it's about as you seek the content, whether you know it or not, the form will make itself known in your life. So, for instance, if you're like a hateful, mean person, vindictive, cynical, all this stuff, is it any surprise that the world seems like a darker place? Everyone seems like an enemy to you. You can't seem to really trust anybody. You're pretty suspicious and paranoia. Seems like the walls are caving in on you. And yet there are others who may be in the same boat as you. I mean, we all are, but they have a very different perspective on life. Because see, in the inverse, the love and forgiveness that you share with one another, these miracles of life, man. Miracles don't have to be these big grand things that we've come to think of. I mean, they can, but it doesn't lessen the value of what they are, because they're all maximal because they come from the same source. It's kind of like one drop of the ocean is no less watery than an entire tidal wave, so to speak. Granted, the tidal wave seems to be able to do more, but without all those initial little drops of water, that tidal wave wouldn't really amount to much. And so those miracles that you give will be given back to you in just the form that you need to help you with the problems that you perceive. So that's where the whole karma thing comes into play, in that if you're doing good and you're giving that love in true forgiveness, and by true forgiveness, it's establishing that what you do to me, brother, cannot hurt me, and I do not hold it against you. It's the epitome of turning the other cheek. That's what that means. And so when we recognize that, when we establish to our brother in our mind, our brother how he is in our mind, because sometimes we make this grand expression of what our brother is. He's done all these horrible things to us, but that's just in our mind a lot of times. And we create these very weird perceptions, these shadow men that come into our thoughts that proclaim why we should hate our brother. So when we can keep those in control, and we can be able to establish that your blood or their blood is not on your hands, or your blood is not on their hands. Sometimes it feels the other way, but it's one of those things where it shows to them that your blood is not on their hands, that they have not done this terrible thing, that what they thought had occurred had never happened. In the extent that in the forms it seems like it's happening, someone could shoot you, hurt you, physically, emotionally, but we can rise higher than that because we understand where our home is, where our spirituality is, where our truth is. It's not in the forms, it's not in the base levels. It's higher than that because we are more than bodies. We are ideas. So be that idea of love. Be that idea of peace and gentleness. And yeah, so seeking the form or seeking the content and that the form may follow. Just like what I've been talking about, friends. When we seek that content, that form is going to follow. It always does. So keeping it more about the content, about the love and forgiveness, and whatever may need to come, let it come. This is where releasing your expectations comes in handy, because you don't get so caught up in thinking it has to be this way or that way, but you just allow things to be as they are. And it makes things a lot more exciting and relaxing at the same time, because one, you can sit back knowing that by the love that you give, it will be returned to you. That's awesome, because you don't have to worry about whether or not you're going to receive love, but rather it's going to come. But then what also is exciting is that by releasing expectations, who knows what could happen? When you think, oh, it's going to be X, Y, and Z, well, then what if it comes the other? What if something else comes and you're so caught up in on being a certain way, that form, that you fail to see that love that's right there for you? So it's all there too. That's the beautiful thing. It's this blank canvas just waiting to be painted, that we, the authors of our next moments, can choose to put love on the canvas instead of hate. And that's a beautiful way of looking at it. We have that choice, and we've been given that as an opportunity to express all the many facets and reflections of God's love to each and every one of us, and to know that it will be returned in measure, in equal measure. And that's really reassuring, I think. So we don't have to be so worried about what the day may bring. But all you need to worry about is the love that you can give. And not get so worried about what may seem to come your way. Recognizing that, no, I'm not going to let this have an effect on me. I'm not going to let this have power over me. There is true strength in forgiveness, my friends. It is not loss. An attack is not our salvation. Forgiveness is the way through which we experience salvation, through we experience the salvation that already is there. So that's what I got for you, my lovely seeking hearts of truth. So go forward and just try and forgive one thought, one person as you go about your day, and see and genuinely really recognize them for who they are. And do that. That's your spiritual opportunity for the day. So let's see what comes of that. And yeah, that's it, friends. So from here at the Wolf Pack, we wish you well and Godspeed. Peace.